Hello everyone, it's Matt from Akuma Mods back again with our review, of the Sparkmaker FHD. So the Sparkmaker FHD is a upgraded version of the original Sparkmaker. So this one has a 2K screen on it, and it's got some upgraded LED array on it as well, which makes it super efficient. You usually don't see those LED arrays until you get to like the 250 range. Nowadays it's pretty standard, but at the time when this came out, you didn't see those, until you got to higher end printers for smaller build volumes. But as of right now, it's kind of the standard. So it's nothing super like out there insane. As I said in my unboxing video, that this machine is specifically designed for small spaces. Now, I know as of making that unboxing video, the price was at like $220 or somewhere around there. Might have been $200. The price is actually dropped currently. I'm looking at Amazon right now at $159. So this is a very good deal right now for what you're getting, because it's a 2K screen, it's a small printer, it's a printer that works, and it's very basic. So unlike most of the printers that you see that are 2K and low budget, like the Anycubic Zero or the longer Orange 10, this one has a lot less issues that I've seen so far. Now, to say that it has issues, I have not come across issues. With my longer Orange 10, I had some issues with the LCD screen acting up every now and then. And then I haven't had a chance to get my hands on an Anycubic Zero, Photon Zero, sorry. I've heard some issues here and there. With the Sparkmaker, I haven't really heard too many issues. The reason being is it's a very simple, straightforward printer. You have your LED array, you have your LCD screen, and then you have your Z motor, your build plate, your VAT, and then a full-size SD card, and then your button. That's pretty much all it is. It's very simple, straightforward. So, as you can see, there's no LCD screen on here. That's because it's meant to be budget. It's meant to be super small, compact. So, if you're looking to, transition from an FDM printer to resin printing, and you're looking for a bigger build volume, absolutely, this is not the printer for you. This printer is more for, printing small parts. So I print these little triggers for a retro gaming unit that I have. And this thing prints amazingly. I've had no issues with it so far. It's very simple to set up in Shitubox. There's already a profile created for it. You just have to tweak the settings to make sure that your resin is working the way that it's intended to. Again, super simple. You go ahead, you slice your print, you slice it, and then save it to the SD card, and it saves it at print.fhd. Now, you should only print and load on one SD card, one file is what I mean. So that way the system doesn't confuse it. I don't think it'll even print more than one different file. I have not tested that out. Usually I just load on one and let it go. And I don't even rename it. I just let it be. So what's simple about it is once you load it on there, you put the SD card and you just press that button. The green ring that's around there will turn to red, and then it'll start lowering your build plate into the vat and start doing your print. So again, it's very simple, super compact, super small. The trade-off, obviously, is you have a very small and limited build volume compared to most printers that are kind of close to its range. Like, if you spent $40 extra, you get into the Elegumars, Anycubic Photon, or the Creality LDR series printers, which are slightly bigger in build volume. Then obviously if you add on another $40, $50, then that brings you into the monochrome screen area. So really, if you're looking for super budget and you don't want to, kill yourself in terms of your wallet, looking for resin printing, this is a great start in my opinion. While not the best start, you can probably find some cheap deals if you're willing to wait a couple weeks for it to arrive from China. But as of right now, if you want a printer right now, like next day, 2 day with Amazon, this is probably the best bang for your buck, in my opinion, in terms of, budget resin printing. Because if you add a bottle of any type of resin, Epax, Anycubic, Elegoo, eSun, they're going to range anywhere between $15 to $25, depending on what you want, what colors, and, if it's a tough resin or just a regular old resin. Right now, we're actually using some eSun bio resin on this this printer right now, which I don't know what I did with the bottle. I had the bottle here. I don't know what happened to it. Oh, there it is. So this is what we're using in it right now. This is usually my go-to for Chinese resins. The eSun PLA biophotopolymer resin. This stuff works amazing. It's probably one of the best Chinese resins out there, in my opinion. So good that I actually have a distributor license with them. So that's really good to have if I ever need some bulk resin, or if anybody else does. But anyway, going back to some points with the Sparkmaker FHD. As I said, I've had no issues with it so far. I've been printing on and off with it for about a month and a half, 2 months, and yeah, like I said, no issues that I've seen so far. And with the improvements that it's made, I can tell that the quality is just slightly better. But again, it's very hard to see that unless you're printing something that's super detailed, or if you're printing in 0.03 for your your layer height. And the reason being is, most of the time I print in 0.05 for my layer height, and that's pretty much across the board. It's very rare that I go and deviate from that, whether it be higher or lower. If I do, it's usually a specific reason for it. But it's almost like 98% of the time I'm gonna stick with 0.05. So yeah, in terms of quality, it's pretty much standard across the board with your Anycubic Photon, your Elegoo Mars, and your Corelity LDR. So that's really nice to have that in that that price range, $160, and have the same type of quality of something that's $40 more. Again, the trade-off is the build volume is a little bit differently. Talking in terms of build volume, so normally a Photon, Mars, and LDR are usually within the range of like 180 for their build, or I'm sorry, 160, 170 for their height, and then their build plate is usually like 75 by like 120, I think it is. So little different for this one, where we have 125, so drastically different. So we are, roughly about 40 millimeters shorter than a $40 more printer. So I guess for $40 more, you basically have a printer that you pay $1 per millimeter, so to speak, if you want to think about it that way for the Z height. On the X and Y, we're at 110 and 61.9 technically. I just consider it 62, but if you want to be more technical, 61.9 is what they listed at. On Sheet2Box, it's got a little bit different setup on it, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same. Sheet2Box says it's a 110.016 millimeter and a 61.885 millimeter and 125 millimeter height. So again, you're kind of sacrificing the build volume for price. But again, if you are someone who, lives in an apartment, doesn't have a a big area to print stuff or have a big area for a printer, this is absolutely a good buy for someone like that. So, one thing that I will say that I'm happy to see on this printer that I don't see on a lot of printers that are $40 more than that, except for the Creality LDR, is a level. So on the VATs, the hardest thing that I see people struggle with is how much should I load into my VAT to start my resin print. Now you can leave your resin in there for as long as you want. This resin has been in here pretty much printing for the 2 months that I've had it. I've never removed this color. I've stuck with this color. It's been printing parts for me, so I've had no issues with it. So if you're worried about leaving resin in your vat, I'm not saying it's a great thing to do, but it's not something to be like super worrisome about. The reason why I say, you know, it's not the greatest thing to do, because if you just go and click and print after leaving it for a week, that resin color, the pigment has settled, so you have to kind of mix it up before you start another print. But going back to the whole point of me talking about that, yeah, it's got a level, so it actually has like a little notch in the back of the vat here to tell you what the maximum level you should be putting in here. So that's really, really nice to have too, because that's something I see people struggle with all the time, is how much resin should I put in there? Well, that's your maximum fill line. Like, you can put as much resin as you want as long as it's to that fill line. And then you can print away. You don't have to put an exact science in there. You know, if my print says, oh, I'm only going to use, 200 grams of resin, and I put 250 in the vat, even though this probably doesn't even hold anywhere near that, it's not the end of the world. You're just going to have possibly 50 millimeter or 50 grams of resin left in the vat. Again, not the biggest issue. You just add some more for your next print and print away. So, but that's pretty much it, guys. I'll leave some links below. They will be affiliate links for Amazon. If I can get one for Sparkmaker, I'll throw it up there. I'll also throw in a link for the eSun Bio resin that I use. That'll be pretty much specifically for an Amazon link. And if you got any question, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them below. Until next time, guys, happy printing.